You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 16th day of September, 2024. And it's Fed week. Yep, true story. Big day everybody's been waiting for. It's Wednesday. I don't know which people are more obsessed over. What the Fed does on Wednesday or what happens at the voting booth in November. But I guess we'll get to experience both of them. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for joining us today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First one, that's our live training room. That's private, members only, and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com. That's this right here, mytradingiq.com. At the very top of the page, there's a link. 5-day free trial, no credit card required. You'll have no problem finding it. Click the purple button, fill out the registration form, and we'll get your desktop set up today. Get your indicators indicating. Trial will officially begin tomorrow, Tuesday. That doesn't mean you get cheated out of a day. What will happen is you'll get next Monday as well. So here we go again, turning a 5-day free trial into a 7-day free trial. If you're listening to this recording after the fact, you never have to worry about what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day you sign up for the trial. Once we get you set up, you'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. And you're not just getting access to the live training room, but for 5 trading days, we treat you just like you were a member, a passport holder. So everything that our members have access to, all the different resources, you'll have access to everything. We'll treat you just like you were a member for 5 days, no credit card required. This way you've got a clear head, and at the end of the 5 days, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. When the live training room ends each day, we take a 30-minute break, come back for the afternoon broadcast, this broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Now, there's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. I'll give you the best way first, from your desktop. Go to mytradingiq.com. This time, scroll down to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form. You're done. Going forward, what will happen every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email is a link. So at 12 noon Eastern. All you have to do is click the link in the email and it will automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you'll have access to the question box so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days that you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. It's really easy to remember because you already know the YouTube part. So all you have to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day, as we're doing right now on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,600 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And thanks to the power of YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Just pick some days at random, have a look. Obviously, the more recent broadcast will be more relevant to what's happening in the world and the markets right now. But all those episodes, there's a lot of teachable moments in there. So, you've got a library you can go to anytime and learn, and that's a good thing. Our daily schedule each day, start with our daily devotional, word of prayer, take a look at the news, global and markets, and then a recap of the logic alerts, the concierge trade alerts. About 12:50, 50 minutes into the broadcast, Michael will join us, give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for about a half an hour. And then I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. Now, the topic of our devotion, God's dream for your life. We're in day 15 of 19. Our scripture today, Acts 27, verses 13 through 20. I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. When a gentle southerly breeze came up, they weighed anchor, thinking it would be smooth sailing. But they were no sooner out to sea than a gale force wind, the infamous nor'easter, struck. They lost all control of the ship. It was a cork in the storm. We came under the lee of the small island named Claudia and managed to get a lifeboat ready and reef the sails. But rocky shoals prevented us from getting close. Only managed to avoid them by throwing out drift anchors. Next day, out on the high seas again, and badly damaged now by the storm, we dumped the cargo overboard. The third day, the sailors lightened the ship further by throwing off all the tackle and provisions. It had been many days since we had seen either sun or stars. Wind and waves were battering us unmercifully, and we lost all hope of rescue. Of course, that's Paul writing. Acts 27, verses 13 through 20. So, how difficulty can make you better, not bitter. Let's clear the air. Life is not fair. You will have problems, difficulties, and hurts that will make you better or bitter. You'll either grow up or give up. You'll either become who God wants you to be or your heart will become hard. You have to decide how you're going to respond to the tough times in your life. How will you handle it? When you go through those difficult times, what happens to you is not nearly as important as what happens in you. That's what you take into eternity. Not the circumstances, but your character. Now, I wrote a piece Friday night, I put it in the Breeze channel, that kind of reflects what we just read there, comparing it to what we as a nation are going through right now. In Acts 27, we learn 3 ways you should not respond. Number 1, don't drift. The ship was caught by the storm and could not head into the wind, so we gave way to it and were driven along. Acts 27:15. The ship carrying Paul and other prisoners to Rome was in the middle of the Mediterranean and hadn't seen the sun for 14 days. So they couldn't get any bearings, and they started to drift. When they face difficulty, some people start drifting through life. They have no goal, purpose, ambition, or dream for their life. Today we call this coasting. The problem with coasting is that you're headed downhill. Life is not a coast. Life's tough. Don't lose your ambition or your dream just because life gets hard. Number 2, don't discard. We took such a violent battering from the storm that the next day they began to throw the cargo overboard. Acts 27:18. The men in charge needed to lighten the ship, so they threw the cargo overboard, then the tackle, and the food. They were discarding things they needed because the storm was so tough. When you get in a storm and the stress gets unbearable, you tend to start abandoning values and relationships you would not let go of in better times. You say, I'm giving up on my marriage. I'm giving up on my dream to go to college. God says, stay with the ship. Have you done that in your marriage? Have you said divorce is not an option for us? We're going to make it work? If you haven't, you'll always be tempted to walk out. If you don't throw away the key, you'll never develop the character God wants you to have. God can change situations and personalities. He can change you. But He won't if you're always abandoning ship. Learn from personal experience that it is never God's will to run from a difficult situation. God wants you to learn, grow, and develop. Stick with it. And finally, number 3, don't despair. Acts 27:20, we finally gave up all hope of being saved. After 14 days in total darkness, and after giving up their cargo, tackle, and food, the passengers finally gave up the last thing they had, hope. But they'd forgotten one thing. Even in a storm, God is in control. He hasn't left you. You may not feel Him, but if you feel far from God, guess who moved? God is with you in the storm, and He'll help you through it. He is testing you to see if you'll trust Him. Will you pass the test? Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we reflect on Acts 27, we're reminded of how storms can arise suddenly in our lives, threatening to shake us. But just as Paul held fast to his faith in you through the storm, we ask that you help us remain steadfast in our trust, no matter the chaos around us. Guide us, Lord, through uncertain times, knowing that you hold us in your hands and that you will see us through every trial we face. And Lord, we lift up America as the elections approach. Lord, may each believer seek your wisdom, standing in prayer and acting as your hands and feet in this nation. Give us courage to speak truth, love to serve others, and discernment to make decisions that honor you. Help us be a light in this world, faithful in prayer, and bold in our commitment to your will, not ours. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen, and happy Monday. I do hope you had a nice weekend. All right, here come the numbers starting here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow is up 96 points. The NASDAQ is down 171, almost 1%. S&P 500 is down 13. The Russell 2000 is up just a point and a quarter. Now, these are divided markets, no doubt. I suspect by the time this broadcast ends, we might see all four in the red. Right now, they are divided. The NQ and the ES, both in the red. The Dow, barely in the green. The Russell, barely in the green. So we'll see what the next couple hours bring. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $1.06, trading 69.71 last. That's a gain of 1.5%, or $1,590 per contract traded. Gold's down $2, trading 26.0870 last. Silver is up a penny, trading 31.09 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei dropped 251 points, Shanghai fell 13, but the Hang Seng gained 53. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE posted a gain of 5 points, the DAX fell 66, the CAC down 15. Some pretty quiet sideways trade in a lot of these markets. And that may be what we see for the next few days until the Fed does what the Fed's going to do. Let's look at some global news. The FBI is investigating an apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. The attack took place yesterday around 2 p.m. Eastern at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida. Trump is safe. The suspect, known for expressing pro-Ukrainian views, is in custody. Secret Service agents opened fire on a man stationed in bushes outside the golf course. He was pointing a rifle through the fence. The man, who was roughly 400 to 500 yards from Trump, fled by vehicle and was later apprehended. An AK-47 style rifle was discovered on site along with a rifle scope, GoPro camera, and multiple backpacks. Officials have not publicly identified a motive as of this writing. Well, I'm pretty sure, and I don't have any intelligence training. I make that obvious every day, right? I think he was trying to kill Trump. I don't know. This incident marks the second near-miss assassination on Trump in 2 months. Now, Trump's now had 2 attempts on his life, but he still goes out in public. The other guys, well, nobody shot at them, but they don't seem to come out of the basement much. You ever watch the TV show Succession? The trial over the future of the Murdoch Empire begins today in Reno, Nevada. Details of the conflict, which draws parallels to the hit HBO series Succession, will remain confidential after a judge ruled last week to keep case filings sealed. At the heart of the court battle is 93-year-old Rupert Murdoch's succession plan for News Corp and Fox, media outlets collectively valued at over $32 billion. Murdoch owns roughly a 40% stake in each company, with each of his 4 children set to inherit an equal share. Last year, however, Murdoch petitioned to amend the family trust to allocate all voting rights to his eldest son and current Fox Corp CEO, 53-year-old Lachlan Murdoch. The Murdochs have donated millions of dollars to conservative causes, while Lachlan's siblings, including brother James, have donated to Democratic groups. Editorial differences surrounding the direction of Murdoch's conservative-leaning news empire are believed to have driven the conflict. Yep, if you got any money, when you go, whoever's left behind, they're going to fight over it. That's as old as the dawn of time. When the Federal Reserve meets tomorrow and then makes their announcement Wednesday, officials are expected to mark the end of an era as they cut interest rate for the first time in 4 years and chart a course for lower rates over the next 2 years. Former Kansas City Fed President Esther George says this is a big meeting. It's one that's been foreshadowed since late last year. It's long been expected. The central bank is expected to lower rates by a 1/4 percentage point to a new range of 5 to 5.25% from its 23-year high of 5.25% to 5.5%. On Wednesday, when their policy meeting concludes, the actions will officially mark the termination of the most aggressive inflation-fighting campaign since the 1980s. Investors' bets on how deeply the Fed will cut rates for the first time has been fluctuating wildly. As of early this morning, traders were pricing in an almost 60% chance of a reduction of 50 basis points versus 40% for 25 basis points. The odds were split 50-50 on Friday, compared with an 85% backing for the smaller cut a week or so ago. Fed is set to cut rates roughly 6 weeks before the presidential election, something Republican presidential candidate and former President Trump and other Republicans have said the central bank should refrain from until after the election. The rate cut will mark the first in a series of cuts as the central bank's new era of easy money, there's no easy money, is expected to last through 2025 and 2026. That shift will ripple through the U.S. economy by making it cheaper for Americans to borrow what they need to buy houses, cars, and credit card purchases. Everybody's maxed out, making that minimum payment. Businesses will also have an easier time taking out loans to fund their operations. Fed officials will release new interest rate projections known as the dot plot for how many rate cuts officials see in the remainder of this year and next year. More trouble at Tesla. Tesla's expansion of its supercharger network has slowed in recent months after widespread layoffs in April gutted the team responsible for installing new electric car chargers and stations. What good's an electric car if you can't fuel it up? While Tesla has been trying to rebuild the group, including rehiring some employees previously let go, the number of new supercharger ports opening in May through April fell 28% over the same period a year earlier. Our government, which has spent $8 billion to build, I think, 8 charging stations, of which 2 don't work, maybe they should just hire Tesla to do the job. For the first 8 months of this year, that number was down 11% over 2023. The decline comes as the electric car maker has received millions of dollars in government funding this summer, here we go, to install new chargers in states including Maryland and Arizona. I haven't seen those. Now, this might not blow your mind if you look at it from the big picture. 3 Democratic senators urged Jerome Powell and fellow policymakers to aggressively cut the central bank's benchmark interest rate by 75 basis points this week to protect the U.S. economy from potential harm. And of course, you can read the subtext and get our candidate elected. Our good friend, Senator Elizabeth Warren, said if the Fed is too cautious in cutting rates, it would needlessly risk our economy heading towards a recession. The committee must consider implementing rate cuts more aggressively up front to mitigate potential risks to the labor market. The letter highlights the thorny political backdrop surrounding the Fed as it prepares to lower interest rates for the first time since 2020 in a bid to bolster the softening jobs market. While officials have repeatedly maintained that policy decisions won't be influenced by partisan considerations, they continue to face scrutiny from several political corners. What do you think they're going to do? And why? We all want to see it done. But sometimes the motive behind an action is more important than the action itself. Apple shares fell today after a closely followed analyst warned that demand for the firm's new iPhone 16 Pro model has been lower than expected. Pre-order sales, which began Friday for the phone, have tallied an estimated 37 million units. That's down almost 13% from last year's iPhone 15 launch and is a result of weaker than anticipated interest in the Pro model of the iPhone 16. One of the key factors for the lower than expected demand for the iPhone 16 Pro series is that the major selling point, Apple Intelligence, is not available at launch alongside the iPhone 16 release. And if it was, I don't know that it would change things very much. I think, there are probably lots of people can't wait to get their hands on an AI-powered phone. But I think a lot of Americans still believe in privacy and maybe aren't so anxious to make that upgrade. Now, you probably know that you can bet on the outcome of the elections. Allowing people to bet on the outcome of U.S. elections poses a great risk that some will try to manipulate the betting markets, which could cause more harm to the already fragile confidence voters have in the integrity of results, according to a federal agency that wants the bets to be banned. The Commodity and Futures Trading Commission is trying to prevent New York startup company Kalshi from resuming offering bets on the outcome of this fall's congressional elections. The company accepted an unknown number of such bets last Friday during an 8-hour window between when a federal judge cleared the way and when a federal appeals court slammed the brakes on them. Those bets are now on hold while the appellate court considers the issue, with no hearing scheduled yet. Somebody's scared. That's what I take from it. Mike Pyle, who served as an economic advisor to U.S. President Joe Biden, will return to BlackRock as deputy head of its portfolio management group, according to an internal memo seen by Reuters on Monday. The unit, which has $3.2 trillion in assets under management, encompasses multiple asset classes, including fundamental and systematic fixed income and equities. You know, you've always heard politics makes strange bedfellows, but we've seen it happen again and again. From the Treasury Department to Goldman Sachs, back to the Capitol. I mean, it's ring around the rosies. And while I don't have any problem with the betting on the outcome of the election, I mean, it's America. It's legal to bet on just about anything these days. But this business of people going from private firms to public jobs and then going from their public job back to private sector, when it has to do with the nation's monetary supply and so many other important things, I think they should be more worried about that. But that's just my opinion. Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, also gold and crude and silver, euro, bonds. We are now in week 320. Last week, week 319, I think we ended up with 16% stopped out. And that was over, I think we have 50 plus alerts last week. I'll check it at some point in the broadcast. So we're officially in week 320. It started last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. This recap was done this morning by Valerie at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. And she'll update it this afternoon, probably around 5 p.m. Eastern. So over the last 320 weeks, we've issued over 17,800 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a very simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. So, since the open last night, up through 6:30 a.m., 16 alerts issued. At the time of the recap, still waiting on 10. That gave us 6 actionable alerts, of which 1, or 17%, have been stopped out, again based on market structure and that very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. So 320 weeks. Last week, 319. That was week 319. Closed the week, I'm pretty sure it was 16%. I think we had over 50 alerts. We'll go take a look at it. Let's see what we can see. Yep, here we go. Week 319, the final recap for the week. 56 alerts issued, 9 never triggered, 47 actionable, 7 stopped out, 15%. Okay, so I thought it was 16, but it was 15. And then last night began 320. Here's the one that got stopped out. We got a whole lot that probably triggered over the course of the day. And Valerie will get those updated again this afternoon at some point. It's usually around 5 o'clock when she gets them done. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m., 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is our night session, vice versa. And the logic alerts are not designed for you to just trade so you don't have to learn how to trade. They're a tool which, if you use properly, will help you learn how to read a chart. Okay? Because if you want to learn how to trade, you got to learn how to read a chart. Now, Michael just sent me a message that he rolled everything this morning. I rolled everything last night. ES went to the December contract. Dow, Russell, the NQ are now all Z. And we also rolled crude, which should say, thought I caught that. Apparently I didn't. CLX, there we go. I think I might have done for both the V and the X. Yep, here we go. Decided to roll crude to X tonight. Okay, so I'm going to leave that X up there so I won't forget tonight. But everything's been rolled forward. And so the actual CTA alerts for crude based on the X contract, not the V, where we were. Long target was 68.60, short target 67.60. You could trade this one or this one because they both have liquidity. So an early roll ahead of the Fed, but we haven't made the roll. So if your chart and your DOM are giving you different prices, then you rolled one, and when you roll one, you got to roll the other. Especially those of you who have brokers who automatically roll your contracts forward. They don't automatically roll your DOM forward. I remember years ago with TradeStation, I got myself in a trade, and my chart said one thing, and my DOM, and I was mystified. This was way back, 2006, 2007. So just make sure you roll them both. And really, once you roll the chart forward, all you have to do if you have an open DOM is close it and reopen it from the chart you just rolled forward. Just open the DOM and it will open with the Z contract. Or if it's crude, it'll open with the X contract. Okay. Let's see where we are on the day. Well, that 38% fib extension has been really important. Look at all the support it provided across here. The 50 was resistance. The 38 was support. So many days. And we finally broke it. And we made it down to a low, 53.94. Now with the rate cuts coming, the market's very bullish. But some traders are concerned that if the Fed were to go with a half or even a 3/4 point hike, or so used to saying hike, cut. I haven't said the word cut in a long time. That could be bad for the markets. It's a lengthy explanation beyond the scope of this show. I'm sure you can read it from your favorite pundit. So we got a doji on the day, and it is an inside day. Let's see, what was Friday's high? 41.5. Today's high, 39.25. So an inside day is when we have not taken out the previous day's high or the previous day's low. We're balancing right on that 38% fib extension. Notice that red and falling has turned to blue and climbing. I suspect it may be quiet till Wednesday, but Wednesday we could get a pop. Now, first major area to be aware of is, as you can see, all these days here, right at that 50% fib extension. If we break through that, then right where this curve is at the 62. Okay, that's potential resistance. Then we have the all-time historic high put in on July 16th. And that price was 57.21 and a quarter. Now, those fibs retracements are based on the low put in April 19th, the high put in July 16th. Okay. We came all the way back and spiked the previous bullish cross, and then that week, that area served as good support. This bearish cross here, we didn't get an extended move. It's going to get an extended move, but we didn't. And so, right, I mean, the bullish cross is right there, so we just blew through that. And the 24% fib retracement, which is different than an extension. The reason I'm even showing you a daily chart is I want to encourage you, no matter whether you trade futures or stocks or crypto or Forex or ETFs, just spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever it is you trade before you drop to your smaller time frames and start trading. Institutional traders look at daily, weekly, monthly charts the way we look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. It has everything to do with account size and the size they trade in. The size they trade in literally moves price while we serve as liquidity. So, if you'll spend those 2 minutes at the beginning of your trading day peering over the shoulder of the deep pockets, okay, see what they're doing, that can have a tremendous impact on how your trading day goes. Some days it makes it real obvious what the deep pockets are doing. And some days it lets you know that we have a market looking for direction. Okay? That's what a doji means. Indecision. Okay? We could see this again tomorrow, Wednesday, right up until that announcement at 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And I suspect we'll see a whole lot of fireworks. Okay, on the ES. Now, these are last week's weekly trading zones. Alerts that go out on Sunday night are based on the previous week's zones. Why? Because the new zones don't come out till Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've published the zones every week for our members since December 14th, 2009. Once they come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Don't change in any way whatsoever. And just looking at the ES, sideways. And it also helps you to see the inside day. See, here's the high of Friday. Here's the low of Friday. Right here. This is the opening candle Thursday night, which was the beginning of the Friday session. This was the opening candle last night, the beginning of the Monday session. So we got a leg and a retracement, a leg, and we weren't able to take out that early high. So we pull back to the BBC, consolidate there, and then coming off the London Open, we hit the long target. Resistance will always send the market looking for support. It finally found some decent support right here. Not necessarily in an area where I would expect it to. That's the 930 open. I mean, look how small. That's amazing to see a 930 opening candle that small. It really is. But anyway, the pullback, which touched the target, you see both of those candles are still touching the BBC. So the pullback held. I mean, it spiked it big time, but both candles are still touching. And that sent us down to the short target. Looks like we overshot it by a tick. Support will send the market looking for resistance, and that's what it's doing right now. Pull back to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Like this, this, like this, like this, like this, like this. But eventually it will trade through like this. That keeps the markets fluid and tradable. BBC simply stands for bull bear cross. When price is above the 30-minute BBC, we're bullish, anticipating higher prices. Prices below the 30-minute BBC, well, then we're bearish, anticipating lower prices. It's pretty simple. Now, markets are fractal in nature, and while we use the 30-minute chart for all of the alerts, both logic and CTAs, there's nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's simply the time frame I chose years ago, and you should pick whatever time frame works for you. You can use the 30-minute as well. Just know all alerts are created using the 30-minute chart. But again, the markets are fractal in nature, so you can put the BBC on a daily chart, a weekly chart, a monthly chart, a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, a range chart, and it's going to function the same. Price gets above it, expect higher prices. Price gets below it, and then expect lower prices. This pullback last night, right at the open, propelled us all the way up to 69.5. So we only missed that opening volley there. We missed the target by 2 ticks. Okay. To the Dow. Here's where we opened last night. Vertical line separates today, Monday. This is Friday. Back here's Thursday. Now, in tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's weekly trading zones, because any alerts published after 6:15 a.m. Eastern on Monday morning, all alerts are then based on the new weekly zones. And as I mentioned, we've rolled all the indices forward and crude. So if you're not on the Z contract, we are. So we get an open, get a leg, get a retracement to the BBC, the pullback held, send us right up to the target where we consolidated a bit. And then we got a real shot in the arm at 9:30 when Wall Street opened, and the following candle, Twin Tower. This candle is like a reverse mirror image of this candle. And that usually calls for lower prices. And we did did get back to the BBC, but the pullback held. We got red and falling overhead right now. If price can overcome red and falling and overcome this high, you got a big window of opportunity right up there. Oh, from roughly 420.45, 420, 135. However, red and falling overhead. Remember, the markets were divided when I gave you the numbers from around the world. Let's see if any of those have changed. Let's see if we're still split. The Dow's up 135, the Nasdaq's down 158, S&P 500's down 8, Russell's now up 3. Wow, that really is a market looking for direction. On the short side, you definitely want to get below this low. Okay, you got a bullish cross right here, and that on a 30-minute chart, that is an extended move. So the first time price revisits this area, you should expect it to be good support. Now, if it comes back down a second time, then you've got this low as potential support. And then look back at Friday, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 candles right here. Potential support. The Russell, here's where we opened last night. And again, we came just shy of the target. But this candle, okay, we're above the BBC, gap blue and climbing. That's all you need. This candle opened at 22, we'll just call it 22.12. And it ran up to 2217.6. So in this one candle, 2212, 2217, that's 5 points. It only takes 2 points to get your goal for the day. So we get a retracement back to the BBC, to the tick, and it holds. And then we get our rally and a retracement. And we put in a lower high. And this is where the Dow or the Russell went south. At a leg, retracement, a leg, and a retracement. That's how price moves, in legs. All markets, all time frames. Leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement. Leg retracement, leg retracement. Get the idea. So, this support, okay, we're now below that support, and it's now resistance or potential resistance. If price were to continue higher, the high of this candle, that should be just shy of that, should be your target. And there's plenty of room in there to get your goal for the day. Oh, 2216 up to 2218. Just takes 2 points in the Russell. In Q, just sideways. And then in the bottom fell out. And that happened about 6 a.m. Eastern this morning. Took us down to the target. We spiked the target. Bounced us up to red and falling. Resistance will always send the market looking for support. And remember, this is Monday, Friday, Thursday. Thursday we had a bullish cross here. We just barely dipped below. And we came back up. But Thursday, Friday, Monday, the support you're looking at right there came from that bullish cross on Thursday. Always pay attention to those. Does it hold 100% of the time? No. Does it hold more often than not? Absolutely. All right, crude oil, and this is the X contract. So if you're still on the V, your chart's going to look different. This was the open last night. We ran into the zone and the BBC, so that's resistance times 2. Had a leg, retracement and a leg. Didn't make it to the short target though. Buyers came in, took us up to the zone. We spiked the zone, and the target was at 68.60. We made it to 57. You only need 10 ticks to get your goal for the day. Resistance sent us to support, back to resistance, back to support, and we came just shy of that zone from last week, even though this is a different contract. These zones were created for the V contract. What matters is important prices and important areas. 69.61, so we missed the zone by 4 ticks. Resistance sent us back to support at the BBC. We've been consolidating sideways, blue and climbing's overhead, and it looks like it's on its way to turning to red and falling like this, which would be bearish, and that could take us below the BBC. Okay. Remember when I gave you the numbers at the beginning of the broadcast? Crude was up $1 on the day. And when price of crude moves a buck, it's worth $1,000 per contract traded. The volume's going to be split, for a couple of days here between the V and the X. So keep that in mind. All right, gold. Here's where we opened. Oh, did you finally make it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, we'll pick up with gold when I come back. Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. And we'll go live on TradingView, do a little live trading. I'll come back, finish the recap, and wrap things up with a good word for the day.
All right.
Looks good.
Good. Oops. You can do that. Let's shut that one off. Here, go here. This is what I mean to do. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 16th day of September, 2024. Now, if you have not signed up for a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Dramatic pause. If you have not signed up for a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on the purple button. There is no credit card required when you sign up for the trial. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. There's no credit card required when you sign up for the trial. When you do that, it's going to bring you to this page where all that we ask for is you name your email and phone number, 5 multiple choice questions, and if you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your TradingView login ID. Click join webinar. Click whatever it says to click. When you do that, it won't be join webinar in progress. Click that button, and we will know that you signed up for the trial, and we will be able to enable the indicators for you. So your indicators are indicating as soon as you start the trial. All right. Spreadsheet. Now, we had a pretty good morning. It actually ended up being a little bit better. We got cut off right at the end. I don't know if Dwayne knows that. I don't know who did it, if he did it or Val did it, but somebody cut us off right at the end. I came back on and finished it anyway, but for those of you who are looking at the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 16th day of September 2024. We made 270 ticks on the NQ. We lost 30 on the Russell, we made 30 on the YM, and we made 2 on the ES. That put us up $1,375 with one contract this morning. Today it took 7 minutes and 1 trade to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $2,160 and took a total of 16 trades this morning. 16 trades, so 48 times 45. That's 2160, I guess. Just do the math. Yes, it is. Okay. Today we took a total of 16 trades. So on the month now, we're up $10,770 over 10 business days, averaging $1,077 per contract per 2-hour morning session. On the year, we're up $80,577 over 173 business days, averaging $465 with one contract each business day. Now, following the 24/20 blueprint, if you were to quit trading when you get the goal for the day and add one contract per month, this month, you would be trading 9 contracts. 9 contracts this month. And if If you were to quit trading when you reach $100 per contract, then so far this month you would have had to work 51.88 hours, right? 51.88 hours, almost 52 hours, and you would be averaging $2,262 per hour, those 51.88 hours, right? Good stuff. So these numbers are staying nice and small, right? Yeah, the number of trades and the number of minutes, keeping those nice and small, and that's a good thing. I think this is wrong. Well, 10 trades, 35 minutes, that's probably right. That's probably right. Okay, so let's get into the actual trades. All right, on the YM, we just had a couple of trades, 2 wins. This one right here where we picked up 20 ticks, and this one right here where we picked up 10. That was all that we did on the YM. Now, that's not all that there was, but that's all that we did. See in here, if we'd have captured this one right here, we would have stopped out. Okay, this one over here would have been a break even probably for me, maybe a plus 10. Right here would have been a nice gain on that one. A nice gain on that one. And you didn't have 4 lines in the ribbon there. And that was it. There wasn't really a lot happening after that this morning. Right, from here I need to put in a lower swing. It still hasn't done that. So there really hasn't been a lot on the YM. Now, we do have FOMC coming out on Wednesday. We have high impact news almost every day this week. But Wednesday is the big one. Now, this is the whole morning right here on the Russell. We started out with a stop out right here. We had minus 20 on that. Then we had a plus 15 right there. That got us to minus 5. Then we had a break even and a minus 25 right there. Got us to minus 30 overall. And since then, we had to put in a higher swing and a lower swing, higher or lower. So finally, it gave a trade right back here. This was the first trade that you could have gotten, and it has not put in a higher swing. So not a lot going on there with the Russell today either. All right, and on the ES now, on the ES, well, you can see we had a couple of trades there on the ES. We actually had 3. It was the first one was a break even. The second one stopped me out pretty much to the tick right there, you can see. Then it went up, but it didn't put in a higher swing. And then the last one, so we're at minus 10 after that one. And then the last one over here, we picked up 12 ticks. I think we got 12. We might have gotten 16 actually. Let me go and check that because I know it was moving pretty quick and I wasn't. Let me see, it was, yes, I didn't have that many ES trades this morning. So, yeah, I gotta go up to the right end of this and see. ES. Yes, okay, that is correct. I was wondering if it was I was wondering if it was 16 ticks, but it was not. It was not. It was just 3 points, so 12 ticks. And that is all that we did with that. Now from here all the way down to here, right? This was this trade. It went all the way down to here, and then it gave this right here, but the ribbon got all crunched up, so there was no trading all through there until possibly way over here. Could have taken a trade there that went about 8 ticks into profit. Changed directions, had another one right here. That would have been a break even for me for sure. Then it did nothing for the longest time. And it's still doing just about nothing right now. Just about nothing. And let's see. We'll go to the NQ now. On the NQ, we had the NQ's really made all the money today. Yeah, we had a good day on the NQ. We didn't stop out at all. Then we bring it all the way over. Okay, so our first trade on the NQ is right here. This is where we got the goal for the day. We got 48 ticks on the first trade, 48 ticks on the second trade, just 2 ticks on the third trade, 48 ticks on the fourth trade. I think, yeah, 48 ticks on the fifth trade. At that point, we're up 194. 48 ticks there, goes to 242, and a break even there, and 48 ticks there, goes up to 270. Oh, that wasn't 48. Sorry, at the end that wasn't 48. That was 20 something, 28, I think. 28 ticks there, yeah, goes up to 270. This is one this morning, right about here. The morning session got cut off, but I was recording it all, so I just kept going with the trades and saw in the recording. I put that trade on, I've got 28 ticks in profit on that trade, and then I brought it all back up, and I did the last 5 minutes or so once I got it back up. And let's see, there was, during the break, there was a trade there, both of those were good trades, both of those good 48 tick trades. Looks like a trade there, which would have been a good trade on the 48 ticks. A trade here, that would have been some kind of profit or a break even. Nothing else on that side. Over here, it switched to the other side, but Asian commodity were bought. Ribbon's all crunched up, so nothing right here is the only trade you got right here, right now. Now, that was it. That was it this morning. We had some really good opportunities on the NQ. Now, again, we didn't take every opportunity, but we did take a bunch, and they all worked out really well. They did what we wanted them to do. They gave us 48 ticks. You can see this first one that we got, that wasn't the first one. This first one over here, I had missed a few before that. I had missed that one and that one, both of which would have given the 48 ticks. It spun around and started giving some long trades in here. So there were a couple of those. And then during the break, the thing I haven't looked at here is during the break. I don't know what it did during the break. But it looks like there was a nice short right here that you could have gotten some good profit on. Another one right here, could have gotten 48 ticks on. Now, you may be wondering why I'm saying 48 ticks all the time. It's just 12 points, right? I have a 9 by 12 point bracket on the NQ. And usually 48 ticks is like a bar and a half. So usually it'll go a bar and a half at least. Right? That's why it's 48 ticks. Now you could bump that up to more than 48 if you wanted to. You could bump it up to 60, like 2 bar lengths. That it usually does that too. But by the entry point to the swing high, there's usually at least a bar and a half of room for it to go. Like this one over here, right here where it just triggered long. 16, let's just call it 17, up to the swing high is up at 23. So there's not really that much room to get up there. You don't have the full 12 points there, but you do have enough to easily get your stop to break even, and you almost have enough for 1 bar length. Right, this is enough for 7 points right there. It's not the greatest trade because you're going to be risking 9 points on this to make a potential 7. So it's not the greatest looking trade, but it is a trade. And if you use your risk management properly, you would get your stop to break even after however many ticks you set it to go to break even at. I use 15, 16, 4 points is what I look for. Now, that brings me to another thing. I did the upgrade this morning on DT Pro, and I tested the strategies today in the live market, and there was still a problem with the strategy. One time it had put too many orders on. When it filled, not when it filled the order originally, but when it put the stop on. I was trading 9 contracts and it put a stop for 17 contracts. So strategy's still not working right. Just thought I'd point that out for you. All right, so we don't have any trades here right now. It is 1:09. We have 21 minutes left, and we don't have any trades right here. I'm going to go here to this guy, and look, Bitcoin had a pretty good day. Looks like pretty good series of days over the weekend. Was that Friday? Yeah, Friday had a nice blue day, big up day, and so it retraced about almost 50% of this right now. Overall, we're in a downtrend, and where it hit was the upper trend line. Descending channel. I have no idea what that thing's going to do. I would think it would probably go up as we get closer to the election, but it depends. It depends on so many things. Let's go out one more here and see what we're looking at there. Mara, what is that doing now? This is on a 30-minute chart. Okay, so on a 30-minute chart, anticipating the move up while it's still up above the BBC there. I don't really see anything good going on there. Let's go out here, the ZB. Now, there was an auction today at 11:30. It doesn't appear to have done anything to the ZB, the leading contract of the 30-year bond. I guess it was a 6-month and a 3-month bond is what they had at auction today. Not a whole lot going on with this one either. All right, we'll go back here to just the 4. Does anybody have any questions about anything? This juncture? If you have not taken a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Take the trial. Things have gotten so much simpler. All you need is the ribbon and the trigger. That's all you need. And, you know, this month, the per contract value this month, you know, we're easily going to have our best month of the year. We're at 10,777 right now, and our best month of the year was last month with 11,000. We're only 1,000 more. So if we hit our daily average today, I mean tomorrow, then we'll be over last month's total. So we'll be having our best month of the year as of tomorrow, and we still have 2 weeks left. 2 full business weeks left. So this could be almost double, depending how we do the rest of the month. Could end up being almost double what our, why did I just hear that? Oh, that's why I had apparently this strategy running over here. And I'm just going to lock in 16 ticks on that. It's this over here. Right, and I'm out with 16 ticks on that. But what I was saying, when I'm looking at the spreadsheet here, we're now at 10,777, and we still have 10 business days left. So we could actually double that, which would be our best day since, I think, 2022, probably. I think. We don't look. This is 2023. Let's look at the end of 2023. Did we have any months over 20,000? No. Our best month in 2023 was 17,000. Okay. So let's go to 2022. Our best month in 2022 was 34,000. Now that is when Russia went into Ukraine. It's right there. So the markets got really crazy when that happened. And since then, 22,000 has been the high. So now, I guess what I'm saying about this is that as with one contract, and switching to this simpler format with a larger time frame is proving out to be, well, really profitable, really working out better. And everything is so much slower, so much easier. If you guys, if you've taken the trial in the past, if you're watching it on YouTube, and you've taken the trial in the past, don't be afraid to take it again. We have stuff that you need to try if you haven't tried it yet. Okay. And it is now 1:14. So we have 16 minutes left in here. And the trades are just crawling right now. We need a higher swing on the Russell, we didn't get. We need a higher swing on the YM, we didn't get. We need a higher swing on the NQ, we didn't get. We just don't have anything here right now. I could drop it down to a smaller time frame, but don't think that would do us any good. You know what I'm going to try to do? I'm going to create a different kind of layout. Create a new layout. Let's call this one ETF. And we'll say save. Okay, and it brings up Tesla for me. I'm not going to do ETF layout on Tesla. Let's do it on QQQ. Okay, and we'll do it on a 30-minute QQQ. And on here, we will add futures range trigger. And we'll put the context on it, context PP, I guess. Okay. So in a 30-minute chart, using all the same information that we've been using. There's an indication to go long. Well, when it came out of the oversold right here. Came out of the oversold. The next up close was right here. So it's an indication to go long here at 470. And that ran up to 473.5. Indication to go long here at 473. That was on Friday. And it ran up to 476. And an indication right here. That didn't go anywhere. Now it's flipping around. But if we go back and look at the past, I just want to put one more thing on here really quick. Let's throw this on. Not sure what that's going to look like. Yeah, no shades at all. Oh, because it's not a range bar. That's why. It's going to be on a range bar. Let's put this on the 100 range. Okay. So on 100 range, you gave all these different trades. Let's take that off. And we'll go back here to just context PP on 100 range. And we'll see the opportunities on 100 range rather than the 30-minute. So you would have had right here with the ribbon spread, right here with a ribbon spread, right here with a ribbon spread, right here with a ribbon spread. And that's it. This would have been your last one right here. Right, and then you get into today, and right here for the bearish move, the ribbon spread. And you would have had another one right there. That didn't work out at all. So looking at this, you would have had a trade here, a trade there, there, and there, and there. And going in the opposite direction, once it flipped around, you would have had a trade right there, and right there. So if you happen to be an option trader and you are trading options on the ETFs, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots right there. That was about 7 spots between Friday and today. 7 spots you got to place trades based on just this analysis. And if we throw on the SEY along with that, look at the same thing, same time frame. You're looking at a long trade right there, right there, right there, 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 there. That did put in a higher swing. So the last one had been right here that didn't put in a higher swing. Now it's looking to roll over. That's a lot of opportunity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 spots. You could have bought options. You could have gone long on the actual ETF. Now, there's another one. 3X from the LSE. at that. Now, this is on 100 range and it's 15.55. Now, 100 range refers to 100 ticks. Oops. And let me get rid of that. So 100 range refers to 100 ticks, but in this case, it'd have to be like 1,000 range, I think, to get the bars to be where we want them to be. Now maybe 1,000 is too much. Yeah, because you're talking about monthly stuff here. Each bar is like 3 days. Try 250 range. Yeah, this isn't exactly what I was looking for. Go QQQ. Come back here. QQQ on the 250. Well, it's got all the dots we already put on there. SPY 100. All right. I just wanted to take a look at that stuff and see how it all looked. You guys aren't asking any questions in there, so let's see. I want to go back to the other one. Hang on a sec. Sign out of there, sign back into here. And I'll go back here. All right, so the only trade we might have is going to be right here on the 84.25 up to 86.25. Okay. That's not even a valid trade. I got to get out of that. Sorry, I'm getting out of it right now. It's not a valid trade. It has to come out of the oversold. Sorry, it's not a valid trade. I just did get out of it. Break in. That is not a valid trade. So we have the NQ possibly setting up a trade here. It's not going to happen the way that it is right now, though, because the ribbon's got to get spread out. We got to get this up into the overbought. The ribbon's got to get spread out. That's not going to happen. All right. We really don't have anything here. Markets are so slow right now. So slow. All right. The NQ31 range. Okay, see the alert that's over here. There's an alert that was created just based upon this crossing up above the overbought right there. That's to let you know that, pay attention. You could have a short coming soon. You could actually put that in the whole alert when I created that. Go to the actual alert. Go to properties. You could say short soon. And on this one, say long soon. And then if you go back into the log, now when it creates a new alert based upon that information, it's going to be this going in and out of the overbought or oversold. It's going to give you information saying to pay attention for the shorts or the longs soon. Did you guys see that? Did you see how I created that thing? If you happen to be a TV Trade subscriber too, then inside the sniper, there is a separate alert just for that. You got to turn on the these yellow things like that, and then you can turn on the alert for that. Go to alert on this, and it would be the long next up close and short next down close. Those would be the two alerts for that. If you're going to choose it, choose alert once per bar and put in here whatever you want. If you want to put anything in there. In here, I usually put the time frame, but in here under notifications, you can put, this notifies it in the app on my phone. This gives me a pop-up on my screen. You know, have it play a sound if you want to. I used to have it play sounds, but somebody's got a really sensitive hearing. It needs to bother him. I mean, he actually heard it through my headset, through my microphone, and my other headset that was on another computer when it was making the sounds. Do you need to update to the Z contract? Yes, you do, actually. Unless you did it on the N contract, because it does it based on the actual contract. Stephen, that's a good point. If you've created an alert on a U contract, you know, it says right here, the NQU. So you can go in there. Then you got to create the whole alert over again. Okay. And did it issue any alerts today on the, well, the U was running today. So it's still going to issue alerts based on the U, but I'm looking at the Z. And I'm pretty sure that the alerts don't correspond with the actual log. Like 31 range, 1323, 35, 1323, 35. Yeah, see, there's not even a bar at 1323, 35 on the Z contract. It's pretty close, but there's not even a bar there. But that's a good point, Stephen. I'll have to make that point tomorrow too. If you create alerts, you have to upgrade them when you roll the contract. The alternative to having to do this every time is to create the alert on the, if you make this contract in Q1 like that, and you create the alert on this one, then whenever the contract rolls, it's going to automatically roll the alert to the leading contract. Okay, that's a pretty good point. If you create the alert based on this, if it lets you, I'm not even sure if it will let you. I never even actually tried that. Let's see if it does let you. It's not going to be there. It's going to be, let's do it on this. Do this, and alert. Seems like it's going to let me. Range sniper, and I'll do it on the next up close. Once per bar. Just do test. Great. Yeah, it did it. Okay, so now along on next up close. Well, it would have just triggered back here a minute ago if I had it ready to go, but actually I don't even have that activated. But that's a good question, Stephen. Thank you for asking that. Okay, short swing. That was one that I just created. Long swing, short swing, long swing, short swing. This one just happened right here on the NQU. This is on the Z contract, but on the U, it probably just crossed up above right here in the slingshot. If you do NQU, yeah, right here. Just crossed up above. So the time on that would be the open of the next bar, which would be this one, 1329.20. It's right there. It's the open of the bar after the cross. So it took 1 second to create that alert. Okay. Well, thanks for asking that. I did not realize that I had not done that. All right. So if you have not taken a trial with us and you want to take a trial with us, you need to go to here to mytradingIQ.com. Click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button. It's going to bring you to this registration page where we ask for your name, your email, your phone number, 5 multiple choice questions, and down here at the bottom, if you have an indicator, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your login ID. Click join webinar in progress. Click whatever button that is right there. Click join. Sign with join webinar in progress. It will be something like this. Register. There you go. It'll be register. Do that, and we'll be able to activate your indicators. So you have your indicators indicating, and we'll give you all the information you need to get into the room in the morning. Okay. Get started with your trial. And the indicators indicating as soon as you start the trial. That's where you want to be. All right. That is it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yes, sir.
Hey, did you shut it off this morning? Did Val shut it off?
I don't know. It just popped up on my screen and said it's been shut off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it must have been Val then. She must have shut it off. The only other 2 people that could have, it was Val and Bert. I didn't shut off. I opened it back up. I went back in. Some of the guys came back in to watch the last couple of trades. I was recording it when it happened, so I just finished it, on the recording on my end. I still have the recording. I just kept recording. I placed 1 more trade on the NQ, 28 tick one.
Yeah, no, I always check to make sure you're done before I shut it down.
Yeah, no, I've accidentally shut it down on you before, so and I know it's an accident when it happens. And, it's no big deal, but
I was working on other stuff and I just saw it pop up on my screen that somebody had closed it. So I assumed it was you. I assumed you had another session or a meeting with somebody.
Nope.
All right, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 7 minutes and 1 trade to get to $2,160.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll pick up where we left off. We were on gold, and gold. These are all-time historic highs, and we're just kind of grinding sideways like the other markets. This is where we opened last night. Right down to the BBC, found support, got above red and falling. So we got a leg, a retracement, and then with blue and climbing, it took us right up to the long target, and we overshot the new all-time historic high Friday. Put in a new high on Thursday, on Friday, and now we've done it again on Monday. Right now we've hit the long target a couple times, but we're now below the BBC. See this retracement? We got a red candle. So we've got potential support here, and here, and over here. But once you get down to 25 to 2600, yeah, that gives you a little cushion. It's $400 per contract traded down to the short target. Silver, this is where we open, ran right up to the long target, shot it. Now, these aren't all-time historic highs for silver. Silver's been to $50 twice in history. Pull back to the BBC, back up to the long target, and then just some sideways consolidation. Tough market for trading. And then we get it below the BBC. Nice leg. Buyers come in just before this double bottom that was put in on Friday. So we get a bounce, the step line's crossed, price should move up to the BBC, and at this point we expect it to be resistance to proven otherwise, and another leg to the downside. And on the euro, which we also rolled to the Z contract. This was the opening candle last night. Had a leg, tracement, and a leg. Took us right up to the long target. And we way overshot the long target. Go back to the BBC and bounced into resistance, red and falling. And this is, remember, the pullback holds more often than not. But quite often when you have red and falling bearing down on it like this, it will take price below. Now we've only spiked below it. I mean, this candle spiked below it, but look where it closed back above it. The closer red and falling gets, the greater the probability that this may be one that trades through. And if it does, you only need 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. Just be aware you got potential support here. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the euro. No, it's silver. You need 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. And looks like we're heading back down, possibly into this area here, where we had these highs on Friday at the weekly zone. Again, these are last week's zones. This week's zones will be on my screens tomorrow. All trades issued, all alerts issued on Sunday night, Logic or Concierge, are based off the previous week's zones. New zones come out Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And anything after that is based on the new zones. So anything that goes out this afternoon or tonight will be based on the new zones. Yep. And the euro looks like it's had its rally. So that low to that high, 50% fibs right here. So, okay. And back to the daily. Okay, we had a doji at the beginning of the broadcast. Now we got a little bit of green body there, but we still have an inside day. We haven't taken out Friday's high. We haven't taken out Friday's low. Just wandering sideways. Still a market looking for direction, but we are above the BBC and we do have blue and climbing below us. So this thing could pop on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now there'll be 2 events. 2 o'clock will be the interest rate announcement. That's when the world will know how much they're going to cut. Quarter or half. Some are now talking 3/4. That might be dreaming, but who knows? Who knows how much pressure the administration has put on the Fed. And then after all those fireworks are over Wednesday afternoon, we might see the market settle back into normal type of rhythm instead of what we've seen of late. To become a member, go here, mytradingiq.com. Questions, call 949-42-EMINI, or you can always send an email to support@cfrn.net. When you become a member or a passport holder, you get 2 hours of live training every trading day in an interactive environment. The strategy is simple. From day one, starting with your trial, ask every question that pops into your head. Your questions are not an interruption of what's going on. Your questions are the purpose of what's going on. So the sooner you ask the question, the sooner you get the answer. In 2 weeks, you'll run out of questions. You'll have a question come around and you go, oh, I already know the answer to that. So you might ask again and you'll see you get the same answer. That's what mechanical trading is all about. You have a specific set of rules and you stick to it. Completely different from discretionary trading. Along with 2 hours of live training every trading day, private one-on-one mentoring, the strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder, fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter, price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again, never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you will get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, the concierge trade alerts every night shortly after the Globex open when they're published. You get the weekly trading zones every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And you'll be able to attend the members-only workshop every Thursday night. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof at one low price. Let's go to our good word for the day. On Friday, our good word was actually a question. Does it glorify God? Well, what's it? It's everything. What you do, what you think, what you say, everything. Everything we do should glorify God. That's what we talked about on Friday. Today, lessons from a broken heart. Psalm 51:12. Restore to me the joy of your salvation. A broken heart can't be healed by working 16 hours a day, sweating it out in a gym, or using mood-altering substances like alcohol and drugs. Those things may bring a temporary fix, but they don't bring a lasting cure. After falling into sin and shame, David prayed, "Restore to me the joy of your salvation." Good news. God can restore what you have lost and teach you things about yourself you didn't know that will make you a better person. And one of the first lessons he teaches us is about forgiveness. Forgiveness, if you could sum up the entire Bible in one word, it would be that word, forgiveness. You can't hold a club of unforgiveness over somebody else's head and expect to find healing yourself. Forgiveness is just a word until you extend it. Your peace of mind and confidence before God depends on your willingness to extend grace to others. Mark 11:25. The second lesson he teaches us is about relationships. And some of those relationships will bring you more pain than pleasure. Judas' betrayal, painful as it was instrumental in bringing about history's greatest event, the cross. Does that mean anybody and everybody can walk into your life and do what they want? No. Their access to you is limited by the shield of God's purpose. Some people bring comfort while others build character, and you need both. The third lesson he teaches us is about the yes zone. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. Revelation 3:7. So whether God opens the door or shuts it, trust him, follow him, and say, "Yes, Lord," because he loves you and has only the best in mind for you. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell. Bell, bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.